Hello lovelies, and welcome to another one of my videos in which I want to talk to you about a very difficult topic, and that is how to deal with pregnancy loss. Now, whether you're going through a miscarriage right now, or you suspect you're going through a miscarriage, or maybe you have just found out that your body still thinks it's pregnant, but the baby's no longer alive, or you've already gone through a miscarriage, I want this video to be an encouragement to you, both on an emotional level and specifically with homeopathic remedies, because there's a lot that you can do to support you through this grieving process, both emotionally and physically. I was inspired to make this video for you recently when one of my favorite YouTubers shared an incredibly courageous and raw video. In that video, she shared that although she was 9 weeks pregnant, she had just found out that the baby had stopped developing at around 6 weeks. My heart absolutely broke for her as she was sharing on video and crying, because I have a lot of women reach out to me when they are going through a miscarriage and they are panicking and scared and sad, of course. I feel like I know this YouTuber because I've been following her for so long, even though she doesn't know me. So the thing I wanted to do most was be there for her. And the best way that I know how to be there for somebody is with encouragement and emotional support, but specifically with homeopathic remedies. And because I so often have women reach out to me that are going through a miscarriage and they're contacting me through my Facebook group or here on YouTube, I thought, why don't I make a video for those of you that are going through this horrific time and that are looking for help and support. This way, I feel like I can be there for you in your time of need, even if you're across the world and it might be your day and my night, or you might not be in touch directly. I know I'll be able to give you some tools to get you through this really difficult time. So first of all, I want to talk to those of you that have been told that you had a chemical pregnancy or you think you had a chemical pregnancy, because I want to deal with this word chemical pregnancy. The whole thing with a chemical pregnancy is that it suggests that you weren't actually really pregnant. However, conception had taken place. Some sort of implantation had taken place because you had a positive pregnancy test. So you were pregnant. And in order for you to grieve properly, you need to be able to acknowledge that there was a baby that you had hopes for, dreams for, that you imagined feeling its kicks in your tummy, or that you imagined looking into the eyes for the first time. So feel acknowledged in the fact that you were actually pregnant, because that way you can acknowledge that you had an actual loss instead of something that was a chemical pregnancy that sounds like you weren't really pregnant in the first place. And that brings me to my first point for all of you, whether you've gone through a miscarriage, you're going through a miscarriage, a chemical pregnancy, a still abortion possibly, you need to acknowledge that there is a huge amount of grief and loss, because you have to go through this process in order for you not to stuff those emotions. And it's very easy to do that because, as I said, you might not have shared with anybody yet that you were pregnant, or some people might feel like you should put it behind you quickly because it was very early in the pregnancy or you had never met the baby. But don't listen to what anybody else says. Grief is something personal. If it takes you a year to feel yourself again, take a year. If it takes you a week, take a week. And you know what? There are different stages and different layers of grief. I notice with my patients that sometimes they think they're okay the next month and they're ready to start conceiving. But then when they start conceiving again, a new layer of grief comes up that they need to address. And then sometimes another layer comes when they actually fall pregnant and they're super happy with their baby, but then they're reminded of the baby they lost and they need to address another layer. And I even notice it with patients that are about to go into labor, that they're thinking of the baby or the babies they lost. So don't think that you go through this process and then that's it. You might need to address several layers of grief, and just let that be okay to you. Don't feel like you need to dig for the grief to bring it up and address it. Just let it be there whenever it comes up. And here are some wonderful homeopathic remedies that are really easy to get your hands on that will help you through that grief. The number one remedy I recommend to women going through a miscarriage or still dealing with the grief from it is the remedy Ignatia. Ignatia is about acute, deep, intense grief, about loss. So you can get this remedy anywhere and take that for a length of time that you feel you need it, but make sure you reduce the frequency as you start to feel better. Or only take the remedy if grief suddenly overwhelms you. So Ignatia is the remedy I would prescribe at any kind of acute grief. However, if you are the type of person that when you are sad or you experience this grief, you're isolating yourself from other people, you just want to be alone, you feel sad but you can't cry and you wish you could cry because you think you might feel better, and basically you are completely shut down, then I would recommend the remedy Nappmure. This will help you open up. It will bring the grief up a little bit so that you can cry and you can feel that grief and go through it. Did you know that Israeli research has shown that if you cry tears of sadness, that these actually contain toxins, while tears of happiness don't? So allow yourself to cry and get rid of those toxic feelings, that waste, basically. The two remedies I just mentioned are very specific for the grief. So they're appropriate if you've already gone through the miscarriage, or maybe you already had the D&C, the surgery to remove a pregnancy, or you are going through a miscarriage and all you want is the emotional support, then those remedies are fantastic. However, if you are going through a miscarriage right now and you're bleeding heavily, and you're very upset, which is understandable, and you're crying lots and you want support, and you want to be cared for, then I would recommend the remedy Pulsatilla. This works on so many amazing levels. It's a hormonal remedy, so it will help you clear out the pregnancy very well, but it will also help you let go on a physical and emotional level. And it is a remedy for when you just can't stop crying. If you're bleeding, but you don't feel like the Pulsatilla I just said, that you want the support and you're crying lots, then another remedy might be more suitable, and that's called sepia. Sometimes I notice with women that are going through a miscarriage that they keep bleeding for days and days and days, and then sepia is what will, end the process and put a little bow on it. Then there are two remedies that I want to suggest to you if you have sadly gotten the news that your baby is no longer alive and you've been given the option to either miscarry naturally or have the D&C. If you want to miscarry naturally, then these two remedies can help the process get started. So the first remedy is Pulsatilla, which I mentioned earlier, because Pulsatilla is all about letting go, and that can be both on an emotional and physical level. You have been pregnant and your body still thinks that it's pregnant, but it's time to let go of that baby that's no longer alive. And you need to be able to do that both physically and emotionally, and Pulsatilla can help you with that. Now, I also prescribe Pulsatilla to women that are pregnant and nothing is the matter, because it is an amazing remedy for other things. And I just want to mention that Pulsatilla won't make you miscarry, because homeopathic remedies can't do that. Homeopathic remedies can only help you with your own healing process. So if you are stuck in a pregnancy while the baby is no longer alive, Pulsatilla can help you miscarry naturally. But in another situation where nothing is the matter with the baby, Pulsatilla will help you heal in other ways to support that pregnancy. And the other remedy I recommend is called Colophyllum. And I'll write it below because it's a bit weird spelling than the way that I've just said it. But Colophyllum I also use in labor when a placenta is retained. So the baby may have already been born, but the placenta is still inside, and that also needs to come out. Colophyllum will help the uterus to contract properly, naturally, so that the placenta can come out. And it's exactly the same for when you have a still abortion and the baby's no longer alive and your body needs to clear out the pregnancy, then Colophyllum can help your uterus to actually start doing that. I know in a super difficult time like this, there are basically no words I can say to make you feel any better. But I do hope that this video has made you feel less alone, and that you feel like you've got a couple of tools that are natural to help you go through the process. Because, my dear, that's what you're going to have to do. Both emotionally with your sadness and your grief and your loss, and physically, you're just going to have to go through this. And you will feel better. You will, I promise you. So I want to send you a lot of love and a big, big hug, and remind you to make sure that you grieve properly. And if you want to connect with me, join the Becoming Vital and Fertile group. There are so many women there in different stages of their fertility, and there are plenty of women there that have gone through miscarriage. So you can definitely connect with us there. Take care, my dear. Bye.